Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our workshop, The Echo of Attachment: How Early Bonds Shape Our Adult Relationship. Let me start by introducing myself. I am Tiasha Bishwas. I completed my master's in psychology and currently working at MindTribe as a junior psychologist. I worked with individuals struggling with various mental health issues like anxiety, stress, depression, relationship issues, parenting, etc. We all have Sheta as a co-host today. Sheta, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm the co-host today, and my name is Shweta. I too work as a junior psychologist in MindTribe. So, I I'm in the expertise area of relationship issues, anxiety, grief, depression. That's all from my end.
Thank you, Sheta. Let's move on. So today we are going to explore how the bonds we form as a children with our caregivers ripple through our lives, affecting how we relate to others, how our early years are not just memories, they are the foundation of our emotional world. These bonds create patterns, expectation, and response that we carry into friendship, romantic relationship, and family dynamics. Understanding them allow us to recognize both strengths and vulnerabilities in our relationship. So as we begin, I invite you to reflect: how have your early bonds shaped the way you relate to the world today? Let's start this journey together and explore the echoes of attachment that resonate through our adult lives. Here are some rules for the workshop. That is, do not unmute yourself in the mid presentation unless asked. Please be careful to keep your audio and video off for a smooth presentation. Please put all your queries in the chat box. It will be looked at actively. If you are facing technical issues, inform us in the chat box. Pin the presentation to your screen. And MindTribe has the intellectual property rights of this presentation. This presentation is copyright by MindTribe. Video recording of this presentation is not permitted. Taking photos or screenshot of this presentation is not permitted. Okay, so here are our table of contents, what we will cover in today's workshop. The attachment and early bonds, four core attachment style: secure, avoidant, anxious, and disorganized. Next, we will examine how attachment style manifests beyond childhood, in adolescence and adulthood, attachment and relationship satisfaction, how to build healthy relationship, and at last, the healing journey. Let's begin with a simple question. I want you to take a moment and reflect on your childhood home. What is one word that captures the emotional dynamic or overall feeling of that environment? You can unmute yourself or you can write it down on the text message. Okay, Kanvi says suppressed. Avishek says neglected and painful with deep people and surrounding. Yeah. Anyone? Joyful. Okay. Okay. Pavin says joyful, mesmerizing, nostalgia. Yeah. We all have nostalgia about our home. Avinav says comfortable. Natalia says memorable. Yeah, sometimes memorable. Bhumika says struggling. Okay. Bright. Confusion. Stuck. Mostly wonderful, but sometimes forced or confused. Yeah. So, yeah, it is not just a memory. It's a window into the emotional context that shaped your early attachment patterns. Love. Yeah. Psychologically, our brains encode this early experience as relational templates that guide expectation of safety, trust, and intimacy. Reflecting on this can illuminate why you may respond to relationship in certain ways as an adult, whether it's seeking reassurance, withdrawing, or feeling anxious in intimate connection. Now let's talk about the four core attachment style. Attachment theory originally developed by developmental psychologist John Bowlby and Mary Answorth help us to understand the connection between our earliest bonds and our adult relationship. Like we all know, their pioneering research demonstrate that the attachment style will develop in childhood that is secure, anxious, avoidant, or disorganized, often influence our relationship patterns throughout our lives. A secure base is both a role that a caregiver plays and an internalized feeling of security within the child. This term emphasizes the idea of the caregiver providing an emotional sense of security that allows the child to explore. Essentially, a child with a secure attachment uses their caregiver as a point of safety. They feel confident when, if they encounter danger or distress, they can return to their caregiver for comfort and for support. The interaction between the caregiver and infants are more than mundane routines. Babies instinctively seek proximity and responsiveness for their caregiver, signaling their needs through cries, sometimes from gesture. When caregiver respond with warmth and attunement, a vital message is conveyed to the baby that you are loved and your needs matter. This message becoming the foundation of the child's sense of self-worth and their belief in the availability of love and care. They feel safe to explore the world, express emotion, and form relationship. Next, we have avoidant attachment, sometimes called the emotional escape route. Children who develop this style often grow up in environments where emotional needs were not consistently met. Caregivers may have been distant, critical, or unavailable. Since your needs were never regularly or predictably met by your caregiver, you were forced to distance yourself emotionally and try to self soothe. These children learn to suppress their feelings, solve problems independently, and avoid relying on others. The next one is anxious attachment, craving connection and fearing loss. It is characterized by a persistent fear of abandonment and a craving for reassurance. Children with this attachment style often grew up in inconsistent caregiving environments. Maybe sometimes they loved, sometimes neglected, leaving them uncertain about their caregiver's availability. This inconsistency may have left you feeling anxious and uncertain about whether your needs in this first relationship would be met and thus provide a model for your behavior in later relationship. These create hypervigilance. They become highly attuned to signs of rejection, seeking constant validation in adult relationship. The last is disorganized attachment, the inner conflict. The disorganized attachment is the most complex and often misunderstood style. Children with this pattern sometimes experience caregiver as both secure of comfort and as well as fear, perhaps due to trauma, abuse, or unpredictable behavior. This creates inner conflict. They desire closeness but also fear it. Disorganized attachment is linked to difficulty regulating emotion, sometimes forming trust and making sense of social cues. If your primary caregiver was dealing with unresolved trauma themselves, it can lead to the intense fear associated with a disorganized attachment style. Often the parent acts as both a source of fear and comfort for you as an infant, triggering the confusion and disorientation you feel about your relationship now. In other cases, your parental figure may have ignored or overlooked your needs as an infant, or their chaotic behavior could have been frightening and traumatizing you. Now, I want to ask all of you why you think these attachment styles are important. You can write it down, or if you want to say anything, you can raise your hand. Yeah, Kanvi. Say.
Yes, thank you. Basically, the attachment style builds up our emotional being, which plays a very important role in anybody's life. It gives the perspective how the world would be.
Yes, absolutely. Bhumika, you want to say anything?
Yeah, maybe emotional world is equal to what I would express to, but I feel the what the attachment styles that we develop makes us understand what things we need to tolerate and what things are not. Like it's like a rubber band, how much we want to stretch upon, and we are taught upon that thing. So I feel that's what we do.
Yes. Okay, here a few message. DJ Priya says it affects the way we connect and perceive others in adulthood. Yes, sometimes we may assume things about people too, connecting some forcing traits of our caregivers. Shomi Chakravarti says in future we carry this childhood experience which can affect us in sure. Yes, that's true. Natalia says to broaden our perspective. Yeah. So attachment styles are not just childhood memories. They are
Yasha,
enduring templates.
I'm sorry to
Yes.
interrupt. I think your screen stopped presenting.
Is it visible now?
No, it's not.
Let me check. Wait a minute. I will join you.
Apologies, you all. There might be a connection network problem.
Yes.
Now it's visible.
Okay. So everyone share see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so as we are talking, why attachment styles are important, you guys also mention every points. Like attachment styles are not just childhood memories; they are enduring templates for how we relate to others. Psychologically, they shape our emotional response, expectation, and interpersonal strategies. Secure attachment foster resilience, empathy, healthy boundaries, while insecure styles like avoidant, anxious, disorganized can create patterns of anxiety, sometimes withdrawal or conflict in adult relationship. Understanding attachment styles allows us to recognize why we behave the way we do in love, friendship, or family settings. Awareness is the first step toward choice. Once we understand our attachment tendencies, we can consciously cultivate secure behavior, improve communication, and build relationships that are fulfilling rather than reactive. Essentially, attachment theory bridges childhood experience with adult emotional life, showing us that while our past shapes us, it doesn't have to define us. Now here ad break. Just like on YouTube, if it's free, there's an ad. Grab some popcorn and enjoy this presentation. So what is one-on-one counseling? It's a personalized confidential chat between you and a trained therapist. Imagine having someone who really listens, understands you, and helps you figure things out. Some counseling misconception is many things counseling is only for those who are unwell. No, that's not true. Counseling is for anyone wanting to be their best self. Why choose MindTribe counseling? First off, our counselors are super talented, plus we are affordable with session ranging from 500 to 5,000. And your first session is absolutely free. Uh, do you have any urgent question about it, or we will move to the workshop? Okay, let's move on. Recognizing the echoes of childhood neglect. So I want you to ask some questions, and whatever you relate, you can thumbs up or thumbs down, or if anything you want to write it down on the chat box. The first is, do you find it difficult to trust that someone will stay even when they have proven reliable? What do you think? Okay, there are lots of thumbs up. Move on to the next question. Have you noticed yourself drawn to partners who feel somehow familiar, even when that familiarity brings pain? Bhumika mentioned one thing. Yes, I feel their mood will change. It's okay. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. Do you feel trapped in a painful push-pull in relationship, desperately wanting closeness, yet feeling terrified when you get in? Lots of thumbs up there. Okay. Bhumika says yes. Okay. Okay, so the last question is, does opening up to others feel impossibly risky to you? Bhumika says no. Okay. Luis thumbs down. Okay. Thank you guys for responding. Let's move on to a case study. A couple, Arjun and Ananya, experienced relationship strain due to Arjun's deep-seated fear of abandonment, manifesting as excessive neediness, jealousy, and constant reassurance-seeking behavior. Arjun craves intimacy and security but has low self-esteem, leading to overdependence on Ananya. Ananya's needs for personal space can trigger Arjun's fear of abandonment, leading to heightened anxiety and protest behavior. Here, Arjun shows a anxious attachment style where Arjun always fears abandonment. He always depends on Ananya for reassurance. Let's discuss some characteristics of anxious attachment style in relationship. Okay, so people with anxious attachment style tend to be overly needy. With this attachment style are often anxious and uncertain. They are lacking in self-esteem. They crave emotional intimacy but worry that others don't want to be with them. If you have an anxious or ambivalent attachment style, you may be embarrassed about being too clingy or your constant need for love and attention. Or you may feel worn down by fear and anxiety about whether your partner really loves you. You want to be in a relationship and crave feelings of closeness and intimacy with a significant other, but you struggle to feel that you can trust or truly rely on your partner. You may find it difficult to observe boundaries, sometimes viewing space between you as a threat, something that can provoke panic, anger, or fear that your partner no longer wants you. A lot of your sense of self-worth depends on how you feel you are being treated in the relationship, and you tend to overreact to any perceived threats to the relationship. You feel anxious or jealous when away from your partner and may use guilt, controlling behavior, or other manipulative tactics to keep them close. You need constant reassurance and lots of attention from your partner. Others may criticize you for being too needy or clingy, and you may struggle to maintain close relationship. So before move on to the next, I want to ask anyone can relate with it or anyone know someone who have these same traits. You can write it down or you can raise your hand to share. Okay, Bhumika says yes. Anyone? Okay. Next, move on to another case study. Ayan is highly self-sufficient, focusing on his career and social life, and feels his personal space and freedom. When his partner Maya expresses a desire for deeper emotional connection or dependency, Ayan feels threatened. Sensing his independence is being jeopardized, he may respond to Maya's emotional appeals by becoming distant, dismissive of her feelings rather than engaging in deep emotional discussion. So here Iron shows avoidant attachment style in relationship. Let's discuss about some characteristics of avoidant attachment styles. Adults with an avoidant, dismissive, insecure attachment styles are opposite of those who are ambivalent or anxious, preoccupied. Instead of craving intimacy, they are trying to avoid emotional connection with others. They would rather not rely on others or have others rely on them. As someone with an avoidant dismissive attachment style, you tend to find it difficult to tolerate emotional intimacy. You value your independence and freedom. You are an independent person, content to create care for yourself and don't feel you need others. The more someone tries to get close to you or a needier partner becomes, the more you tend to withdraw. You are uncomfortable with your emotions, and partners often accuse you of being distant and closed off, rigid and intolerant. In return, you accuse them of being too needy. You are prone to minimize or disregard your partner's feelings, keep secrets from them, and sometimes engage in affairs and even end relationship in order to regain your sense of freedom. You may prefer fleeting, casual relationship to long-term intimate ones, or you seek out partners who are equally independent, one who will keep their distance emotionally. Anyone want to share anything? Like, have you ever experienced this, or have you know anyone having this attachment? Yes, Kanvi.
Yes, I feel that I do exhibit few of the traits, like from it, uh, like finding it difficult to trust and rely on others, because I feel that I am like I have like very difficulty in asking help, even from my childhood friends. That is a one of the trait, and I am most of avoidant, like avoiding people and everything, and relying on them. So that I can correlate with.
Okay, Kanvi, thank you for sharing this with me. Yeah, that happens sometimes. Anyone else? Okay, so let's move on to the next one. The next case study about Advik and Shamira, where Advik shows his contradictory behavior, desperately craves intimacy, but simultaneously fearing being hurt and abandoned, leading him to push her away. He may become overly suspicious, question the legitimacy of the relationship, or have difficulty trusting Samira's intention. So the case study I share, it's an example of disorganized attachment styles. Here are a few characteristics of disorganized attachment styles that can show in relationship. It's also referred to as fearful avoidant attachment styles, stem from intense fear, often as a result of childhood trauma, neglect, or abuse. Adults with this style of insecure attachment tend to feel they don't deserve love or closeness in a relationship. If you have a disorganized attachment style, you have likely never learned to self-soothe your emotions, so both relationship and the world around you, you can feel frightening and unsafe. You probably find intimate relationship confusing and unsettling, often swinging between emotional extremes of love and hate for a partner. You may be insensitive toward your partner, selfish, controlling, and untrusting, which can lead to explosive or even abusive behavior. And you can be just as hard on yourself as you are on others. You may exhibit antisocial or negative behavior patterns, sometimes alcohol abuse or prone to aggression or violence. While you crave the security and safety of a meaningful, intimate relationship, you also feel unworthy of love and terrified of getting hurt again. Anyone can find any similarity with it, or anyone want to know anyone having these traits? Okay, Avinav says, can you please show the previous slide for a second? Like this one, Avinav? Okay, I think it's done. Okay. So now let's move on to the next case study. Okay, so okay, Sally, raise hand. Anyone you want to share anything?
Actually, the previous one which you showed just now, yes,
Yes.
my like few of my friends show these kind of like relationship, like disorganized attachment styles. Like when they don't receive the love they want from their fathers or mother, they tend to be close to other people, like friends or other uh, the people in contact with them, like that.
Okay.
Many of my friends have shown these like traits,
Yeah.
like fear of like to be abandoned by others. They try to like do what the other wants because they want to be with them and all.
Yeah, it happens. Like sometimes we see that our close ones also have this kind of traits. Thank you, Sally, for sharing this.
Thank
Anyone have anything to share? Vanipriya asked, can same person have both attachment style? Yeah, sometimes it possible like they show some traits from disorganized and sometimes also from anxious. Yeah, it's possible sometimes. Here someone raised hand. Yeah, say Abhishek.
Ma'am, can I share something?
Yeah, sure.
Uh, the thing is, I did someone come in my life, okay, and after means we have relationship for 3 years, and
Hmm.
last year we broke up, but she again come, and I was hoping that she will come one day, and she now created in me. She intensified the feelings for her, and in matlab so it's like that, but she has a mood swings like that. I don't want love, and then suddenly she said I love you, I want you, and like that, please come to meet me, and like that. And with that, my feeling getting stronger, and
Okay.
I
Yeah.
started feeling attached, okay.
Okay.
And now means when I was sure about that, she suddenly said I don't have feeling for you.
Hmm.
And but she sent me photos of every day. She talk with me every day like that. And one day I felt like that, means cheating, like she was online talking with someone else. So I created a fake account, and in that she said I want a relationship
Yes, Abhishek. I'm sorry
with
to interrupt.
that anonymous person, and that was me. I created that, but my intention was a pure, like, why I created, just to make a soul to soul connection, not by physical appearance or face. And I wanted to
Yeah.
prove that you also have love for me.
Yeah, Abhishek,
But
I understand. It's sometimes hard for you. Uh,
yeah, but I
Thank you for
told her,
sharing.
and after that, means she blocked me and said you broke my trust.
Hmm. Yeah.
Didn't like
Thank you
that, but
for
I'm
sharing
craving
this.
for her still.
Maybe she has bipolar disorder, borderline personality. Yeah. Kanvi raised her hand. Anything you want to share, Kanvi?
Yes, miss. So I just wanted to ask, like, there are some overlapping traits in like the all the attachments you shared, right? So what is the difference between difficulty trusting stability and trust issues? One thing which was in the previous one. So how does they both differ? If you can throw some light on that.
Like the difference between this disorganized and avoidant attachment style.
Difference between the last point of this disorganized attachment and the similar point which was in the previous one, right? The trust issues thing.
Okay,
If you
so in
can.
avoidant attachment, there's happen like instead of craving intimacy, they want to avoid emotional connection. And in anxious attachment, they want intimacy. But in case of disorganized attachment, they are confused. Sometimes they want closeness, but in the next very few moments, they want to distance themselves from their partner. That's the basic difference between these three.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Let's move on to the last case study. A couple named Ivan and Tanvi having high relationship satisfaction through open communication, mutual respect for independence and closeness, and effective conflict resolution as they both trust each other's availability and responsiveness without fear or excessive demands. So here the case study I shared, it's about having secure attachment style. They actually communicate when they have any conflict and they trust each other and resolve conflicts without fear or demands. So let's see some traits of secure attachment style. In adulthood, secure attachment manifests as emotional balance, empathy, and relational resilience. Securely attached individuals are able to regulate their emotions, communicate effectively, and manage conflict constructively. They can be close to their partner while maintaining their own sense of identity and independence. This flexibility allows them to provide support and intimacy without being over-dependent or avoidant. They are able to set appropriate boundaries. They tend to feel safe, stable, and more satisfied in their close relationship. Having a secure attachment style does not mean you are perfect or you don't experience relationship problem, but you're likely to feel secure even to take responsibility for your own mistake and failings and are willing to seek help and support when you need it. You appreciate your own self-worth and you are able to be yourself in an intimate relationship. You are comfortable expressing your feelings, hopes, and needs. You find satisfaction in being with others, openly seek support and comfort from your partner, but don't get overly anxious when you two are apart. You are similarly happy for your partner to rely on for support. You are able to maintain your emotional balance and seek healthy ways to manage conflict in a close relationship. When faced with disappointment, setbacks, and misfortune in your relationship, as well as other parts of your life, you are resilient enough to bounce back. So, secure attachment serve as the psychological baseline for healthy relational functioning, providing a model for how relationship can be both nurturing and also balanced. Here we are talking about secure attachment and relationship satisfaction. So research consistently shows that secure attachment is associated with the highest level of relationship satisfaction, emotional intimacy, and stability. Individuals with this attachment style tend to experience lower anxiety in relationship, higher resilience to conflict, and a balanced approach to closeness and autonomy. They are able to balance intimacy and autonomy, manifest trust, and navigate conflict with empathy and understanding. They perceive relationship as a stable and predictable, which allows them to approach conflict calmly and engage in constructive problem solving. In a secure relationship, partners feel confident expressing emotion, asking for support, and offering empathy in return. This dynamic fosters deep connection between couple, mutual respect, and resilience during stressful period. By fostering secure behavior and attitudes, individual can experience stable, fulfilling relationship that support both partners' emotional growth. Now talk about the challenges faced about insecure attachment style. Have you ever thought about how common different attachment styles are? Research shows that around 55 to 65% of people develop secure attachment style, feeling confident in relationship while balancing closeness and independence. But what about the rest? Studies delve deeper, revealing that our attachment style often links closely to early experience. For those with inconsistent care, an anxious attachment style might emerge, leading to a constant need for reassurance due to a fear of being left. Similarly, without reliable care, an avoidant attachment style could form, making people approach intimacy cautiously to avoid feeling exposed. Now let's talk about the dark side of attachment style. Both anxious and avoidant attachment can be kryptonite for romantic relationship. Anxiously attached folks are often stuck in a cycle of feeling perpetually unsatisfied with their partner's level of affection and commitment. Avoidant attached partners have the opposite problem. They struggle to establish true intimacy and may come across as emotionally distant or dismissive. They are hyper focused on maintaining their independence and can make their partner feel neglected or unimportant. When an anxious and avoidant type get together, they tend to fall into a toxic passive withdrawal pattern that erodes the relationship over time. The anxious partner chases the avoidant one, desperate for reassurance and connection, while the avoidant partner pulls away, feeling smothered. Now, let's talk about how these attachment styles affect our mental health. Attachment styles are deeply intertwined with mental health outcomes. Insecure attachment is consistently linked with increased link risk for low self esteem, loneliness, anxiety disorder, and depressive symptoms, and even substance related issues. Early attachment experience shape how individual perceive stress, regulate emotions, and interpret social cues. For example, someone with anxious attachment may catastrophize minor conflicts, interpret neutral interaction as rejection, and experience chronic worry about relational security. Avoidant attached individuals may suppress emotion, isolate themselves, and struggle to seek support, leading to feelings of chronic disconnection and unresolved stress. On the other hand, disorganized attachment often coexist with heightened emotional reactivity, fear-based behavior, and difficulty trusting others, increasing vulnerability to anxiety, depression, and trauma-related symptoms. Now let's talk about attachment wounds. Attachment wounds are psychological scars left by early experience with caregiver that were inconsistent, neglectful, or abusive. This wound influence how individual form, maintain, and perceive relationship throughout life. Attachment wound manifest as patterns of insecurity, fears of abandonment, mistrust, and difficulty regulating emotion. Individuals may repeatedly enter relationships that mirror early relational trauma, unconsciously seeking familiarity even when it is hurtful. These wounds often underlie recurring conflicts, emotional volatility, and relational dissatisfaction. For example, someone with an anxious attachment wound may constantly seek reassurance, misinterpret neural cues as rejection, and experience heightened sensitivity to relational stress. Avoidant wounds may lead to emotional withdrawal, self reliance at the expense of intimacy, and difficulty trusting partners. Disorganized wounds combine fear and desire for connection, resulting in contradictory behavior that confuse both the individual and their partner. Now let's reflect questions for everyone. Like during an argument with your partner, what tends to be your go-to behavior or pattern, and what emotions are driving that reaction? You can write it on the chat box, or if you want to share anything, you can raise your hands.
Ma'am, can you explain in Hindi this question?
Like when you have conflict with your partner or during an argument, what's the behavior you show? Like,
Means I try to re-heal everything. Means even with a conversation, I just try to communicate and ask her means what is in her mind, and I try to solve that by calmness actually, not by
okay,
destroying everything.
that's really good. Anyone else? Kanvi, you want to say anything?
Yes, like mine is like a kind of avoidant most of the time. Like uh, with the family members I'm talking about, right? If I'm working something, like for example, if I was into a session, so I avoid that thing. Uh, Usually it was aggressive before, but now I try to keep calm and everything. But usually it is very disorganized and depends upon my mood. Uh, as always, the girls being having mood swings, so it varies.
Okay. Yeah, it's different from different people. Okay. Anyone wants to say anything?
Yeah, I feel I react in a manner where I feel confused at first that, maybe I'm wrong or they're wrong with the stuff. And then I go silent and distance from mental side and usually cries. So I think that's what the way is.
Okay. Thanks for sharing. Is there any message? Sometimes I act out of my ego. Okay. Let's move on to healing journey. Your wounds are not your fault, but your healing is your power. So I want to start with this quote. Healing begins with understanding that your attachment wounds are not your fault, but your healing is your power. Recognizing this distinction is liberating. It shifts responsibility from blame to empowerment. Through healing, we can strengthen connection with ourselves and others, cultivate healthier self esteem, and develop emotional resilience. They are foundation of secure, fulfilling relationship. The journey to secure attachment is not always easy, but it's so worth it. When you feel confident, worthy, and trusting in your relationship, that's when the real magic happens. Securely attached people are more likely to seek emotional support from their romantic partners and build strong, lasting bonds. So, here are some tips how you can move on to your secure attachment from insecure attachment style. Like the first one is cultivate self awareness. Self awareness is the cornerstone of healing. Start by identifying your attachment style. Either is it secure or anxious or avoidant or disorganized, and reflect on how it shows up in your relationship. Journaling your triggers allows you to recognize recurring patterns and emotional reaction, providing a mirror to understand your inner world. It also helps uncover unconscious relational habits shaped by early attachment experience. Exploring past experience with curiosity rather than judgment helps uncover the origin of your behavior. This practice strengthens introspection, enabling you to respond consciously rather than react unconsciously. Awareness is the first step toward breaking unhealthy cycle and choosing relational behavior that aligned with your goals and values. The next is develop self compassion and self worth. Developing self compassion and self worth is a crucial step in healing attachment wounds and fostering healthier relationship. Many individuals with insecure attachment patterns struggle with harsh self criticism, self doubt, and the constant need for external validation. Practicing positive self talk is an effective tool to reframe negative beliefs instead of automatically blaming oneself. for relational challenge or personal setbacks. Engaging in self discovery is another essential aspect. By exploring personal interests, values, and boundaries, individuals reconnect with their authentic self and develop a sense of agency in relationship. This promotes autonomy and reduces over-reliance on partner for validation, which is particularly important for those with anxious or avoidant attachment. Prioritizing self-care reinforces both self-worth and emotional resilience. Activities like nurture your body, mind, spirit, such as exercise, creative expression, or relaxing practice. Over time, this practice strengthens internal security, allowing individuals to engage in relationship from a place of confidence rather than fear. The next is practice emotional regulation. Emotional regulation is the ability to understand, manage, and respond to emotion in ways that are adaptive rather than reactive. For individuals with insecure attachment patterns, emotions, especially in relationship, can feel overwhelming or uncontrollable. Mindfulness is a core technique for emotion regulation. By observing emotion without judgment, individuals create space between feeling and reaction. This allows for intentional response rather than automatic behaviors driven by attachment fear. Developing strategies to manage intense emotion is essential for relational health. Techniques include deep breathing, cognitive reframing, grounding exercise, and guided reflection. These strategies help individuals calm the nervous system, recognize the triggers, and respond thoughtfully to relational challenges. For example, during conflict, pausing to identify what emotions are driving behavior can prevent escalation and promote constructive dialogue. Those who regulate emotion effectively can communicate needs clearly, respond empathetically, and maintain secure relational dynamics. Here are 5 tips to mindfulness. One is mindful breathing. Focus solely on your breath for a few minutes. Wait a minute. Is my screen visible to others?
No, it is not.
Wait a minute. Is it visible now?
No, it's not.
Yes, now it is.
Okay.
Please give me
Thanks
a
for
thumbs up
confirming.
if it's presenting, right? Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So, here are 5 tips to mindfulness. The first one is mindful breathing. Focus solely on your breath for a few minutes. The next is mindful eating. Pay close attention to the smells, flavors, and textures of your food. Walking meditation. Take a 10-minute walk, observing sensation and surroundings. The next one is body scan. Tune into your body from head to toe, noticing sensation. And the last one is mindful activity. Scan your body from head to toe to tune into the physical sensation. And the last one is mindful activity. Try yoga, puzzle, coloring, or craft. Let's move on to the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding techniques. Keep your feet in the ground and take a deep breath. Acknowledge 5 things that you can see around you. Acknowledge 4 things that you can touch around you. Acknowledge 3 things that you can hear around you. Acknowledge 2 things that you can smell and 1 thing that you can taste. Now is build supportive relationship. Supportive relationships are crucial for emotional well-being and relational satisfaction. The first step is identifying trustworthy people. Observe how individuals respond to your emotions, whether they react, respect boundaries, or whether interaction leave you feeling valued rather than drained. Reliable partner, friends, or mentors provide a safe environment to practice secure relational behavior and build emotional resilience. Consistency and reliability in interaction reinforce relational safety. Following through on commitments, honoring boundaries, and demonstrating availability for support signals to others that the relationship is dependable. Over time, this behavior cultivates emotional security, relational anxiety, particularly for those with anxious or disorganized attachment patterns. The next one is how to communicate with your partner when you are angry. Here are a few tips for you. Like when you are angry, you can say like I feel upset and you can describe the reason. You might struggle to understand, but for some reason it really bothers me. Or you can say like would you mind if I took a little time to wind down? You can explain the incident that happened and you can express the emotion you feel, and then you can say like I need to take a little time for myself. This is the way you can communicate rather than being in an argument. Okay, so seek professional support. You don't have to do it alone. Reaching out for support is a sign of strength, not weakness. Seeking professional support is a demonstration of strength. Reaching out to a therapist or joining a support group is recognized as one of the most effective ways to address relational patterns, manage emotional distress, and cultivate resilience. Therapists provide a safe space to explore your attachment wounds, understand recurring behaviors, and develop new relational skills. They help translate insight into actionable strategies, guiding you towards secure and healthy relationship. Remember, professional support is not only for times of crisis but also for proactive personal growth. It allows you to strengthen self-awareness, learn coping mechanism, and build a foundation of secure attachment behavior that can transform your relationship over time. Now, here are a healthy role play. I want to ask my co-host to help me with it. Shita, are you available?
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yes, yes, I am.
Okay, so Sakshi. Hey, I am feeling really overwhelmed right now. Can we talk for a minute?
I'm sorry to interrupt. Am I Sakshi or?
You are Aditya.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much. Yes. Yes, of course. What's going on?
I feel like I am carrying the burden of the housework alone. I know we are both busy, but when I see the kitchen like this, I get frustrated and exhausted.
I hear you. I'm sorry you're feeling that way. It makes sense that you'd feel exhausted even if you think you're doing it all.
Thank you for saying that. It's not about keeping score, it's about feeling like we are a team. I just need to feel that we are both in this together.
Okay, I get it. So, how can we get a better team? What if we sit down and make a list of everything that needs to get done and figure out a system that works both for us?
Thank you, Shweta. Okay, so this is a role play of two people having secure attachment. When there is a conflict, they are just sit down and discuss it rather than escape the conflict. Is there any question you have? Okay, so one asks where I can find support groups. You can search on Google. There are a lot of support groups who conduct therapy. Even MindTribe conduct group therapy. You can join that as well. Okay, so is there any question you want to ask? Okay, so let's move on to the end of the workshop. I want to end it by saying, like, by understanding our own attachment style, we can start rewriting our own stories and building relationships that are rooted in trust, intimacy, and a deep sense of communication. Is Bhumika?
I mean, I just want to ask, am I allowed to ask a question?
Yes, you can ask.
Okay, so I want to ask one thing. Like all these things, when we talk about attachments and everything, is quite become easier when a person is, from the other family person or something which is not very close. Maybe even if we talk about breakup, so we have a space to ponder upon and revisit ourselves and our past selves and heal ourselves accordingly. But when the issues arises from our very close ones, and now we cannot just delete them from from our life, they will be there with us in the present scenario, and they will be there with us in the future as well. So how to deal with that, even if we are very aware of every attachments styles and every nature of that person or the issues that they could create around. So only awareness doesn't help with that. So how to manage with those things.
Okay,
And
so I,
And
yeah.
one more thing to add is, there has been many times when I just keep, comparing with the other people thing. Like if we talk about parents, so first instincts comes ki, they are like, the givers, they take caregivers and everything. But if their actions are very contradictory, so I mean, I keep counseling myself with those thoughts, but those don't go away with it. Or sometimes it feels like you keep questioning why they do like that, why they had to react with that. So yeah, so how to deal with all this stuff?
I think in that case, as you say, he is aware of it. Still, you can express him your feelings, like for his behavior, how you affected, what's the thing he can change, or you guys can work together. And also, as you said, you go for counseling. I think if you guys can go for couple counseling, that can help you to recover this. I think you can consult and go for couple counseling, and also you can discuss your feelings with him or her.
Right, right. Thank you.
Okay, guys, thank you for participating in this workshop, for being present, and for taking steps toward healthier, more secure, and more fulfilling relationship. Remember, awareness is the first step, and growth is always possible. Reach out, stay curious, and continue the journey of self discovery and relational mastery. Thank you so much for joining.